there she is, a 1992 Isuzu bus. We looked around and Cameron checked the engine. We weren't overly excited at first, but it grew on us when we learned it had low Ks, a huge understorage compartment, a turbo engine, and that it only cost $4,000. We got a permit, drove it home, and let the cleaning and demo begin. Would you like to live in the bus? You wouldn't?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah. Let's put our bed in here and all your toys. No? Yeah. Yeah. As you can see, the floor was super rotten and needed replacing. So we ripped it all up and replaced it with 12mm plywood, which we coated both sides in a waterproofing bitumen paint. We also painted the entire frame of the bus in zinc gal paint to stop it from rusting, and then Cameron got stuck into laying the new floor. We later learned that regular ply and bitumen paint was a terrible idea, and it ended up costing us about $400 because we had to redo the floor again. The bitumen paint never seemed to dry properly. It was always a bit sticky and it seemed to melt in the heat. It also wasn't a very good waterproofer. The first big lot of rain we got, the water came in and warped the timber almost instantly. So you could only imagine what would happen to the underside that's exposed to the water, mud, and whatever else that comes off the tyres while driving. And we just weren't willing to take the risk. After this, we decided to start fresh and redo the floor again. This time, using marine ply and a polyurethane sealer. But we figured we would just leave this black floor in for the time being until we got a new window put in, fixed some other leaks, and finished painting the walls and ceiling. All the messy work. redid the floor again. Sorry we didn't film it. It got a bit overwhelming juggling so many things at once. Converting the bus, selling and donating nearly everything we own, moving out and cleaning our rental house, all with a cheeky toddler running around. It was stressful to say the least. So as you can imagine, the camera was often forgotten about, but we shot what we could. When we replaced the floor again, we decided not to include the ramp in the floor, which meant that Cameron had to build a new step. He did a great job, but it does creak every time. Next, we decided to paint the exterior of the bus before the wet season set in. We just used water-based exterior house paint. We couldn't afford to have it done properly with car paint and figured if house paint started to look a bit yuck after a few years, then we would just repaint it again down the track. So long as we could cover up the horrible green and white colour that it currently was, we were happy. So we sanded it all back, taped the windows, prepped the area and got painting. The blue colour we chose started off really pale, and then we decided to add some more of the tint. It wasn't quite blue enough, and we wanted it to look like a giant combi. We also used a marine varnish to seal in the paint and to stop it from staining and chipping off easily.
Aw, what's baby doing in the toilet?
And yeah.
Baby, where are you?
Daddy.
This toilet's unused, by the way.
Yeah.
The baby. Like me. What's going on?
Own it.
What's the button, this one?
Yeah, you got to push out with
My
your
thumb.
thumb. Use your other hand to hold the job.
Yeah,
so it
I'm
doesn't.
just getting it lined up.
Hold it off the job, it won't start on there.
There you go.
Sweet. Nailed it. Mummy's not going to be very happy, is she? No. Hey? Bag? Show me your hands. Oh no, all through Mummy's bag. I was wondering why you were so quiet.
It was about here that we stopped filming altogether. At this point, we were living in a mostly empty house, using a camp fridge and sitting on the floor because we had sold all of our furniture. We bought the bus on the 18th of August 2018, and we moved in on the 28th of November 2018. So it only took us 102 days to get it livable and to reduce an entire household of stuff to fit in a 40-foot bus. It was a very hectic 3.5 months. But we did it. We were officially houseless. We finished the kitchen, gap-filled, sanded, prepped and painted all of the interior walls, laid the vinyl floor planks, finished our bed frame, moved our stuff in, did about 5 loads of rubbish to the dump, cleaned our rental house, and moved the bus conveniently next door to my mum's house. Yes, we rented a house next door to my mum. But don't worry, there were no everybody loves Raymond moments. In our first few weeks of living in the bus, we had some pretty extreme weather. It reached 45 degrees Celsius in the shade on my mum's veranda, and to top it off, most of the state was covered in bushfires. It was ridiculously hot. Then, when the heatwave and bushfires came to an end, we finally got some rain, which was very much needed. But it soon became a bit of a challenge living in such a small space while it poured down rain all day long. Plus, we still didn't have a front door, so the rain would often come in on the stairs, and we had to use a mozzie net so bugs didn't get in. We were a bit stuck on what to use for a door. The door that the bus came with was a bifold door, and it didn't fit the criteria of Queensland's regulations. We had to have an outward opening door with a safety glass window for the driver to see out of. Which was all fine, but the bus had curved sides, so it was always going to be a bit of a tricky job. So we just kind of left it. The rain also pushed us to move the bus out to my cousin's farm sooner than we had planned to avoid getting bogged. So we quickly packed up, bought a permit, and drove the bus 20 minutes down the road and set up on top of a hill on the property, where we stayed for about 6 weeks over Christmas. We still didn't have a proper cooktop, so we were just using a camping one. No dining table, no cushions for the lounge, no water in the bathroom sink, no hot water, and to top it off, our solar panels weren't working properly, so we often had no power. Thank goodness for generators. The positives definitely outweighed the negatives though. We had the best views and loved being out in nature with no phone reception, internet or even TV reception. It was a great detox from screens, and a good test run for living in the bus. Plus, we didn't have to pay rent anymore. We went swimming every day, stargazed at night, and made friends with the herd of cows that lived on the property. Although, they would sometimes get a little too close to our generator, and we would have to attempt to shoo them away. As much as we would have liked to have stayed parked up on this hill, we knew it was time to get back to civilization and keep working on the bus. So we packed up and off we went. About 5 minutes from where we parked the bus at Mum's place, the bus broke down. Luckily, Cameron knows a thing or two about engines and was able to diagnose and fix the problem so we could get home. It was just some dirty fuel filters that desperately needed replacing. Just another job that needed doing.